Well, welcome to today's Facebook Live. I'm excited to have David Clarke join me today. David is an author, a counselor, a friend, and just excited for you to get to know him a little better and to share some things as he has a new book out now, 20 Lies That Keep You with Your Abuser. So, David, welcome. Good to see
Yeah,
you.
good to see you. My pleasure to be here.
Thank you. So, you are known for a tough love approach in counseling. Why did you decide to take that approach?
Hell yeah, I'm known as the hammer, not the hammer in the velvet glove, just the hammer. I told somebody that the other day. Yeah, I'm tough. I blame my mother like I do for most things. She's in heaven now, but she was very blunt, very direct, very no nonsense. RN for years. And my personality, kind of a crazy, sort of an expressive person. I'm the carbon copy of my mother, waving my arms. Everything's a drama. That's who I am. So, but she was tough. My dad was a sweetheart, very pastoral. My brother took after him and became a pastor. I don't need that. They talk too long. They try to explain things. Don't need that. I come right to the point. So it's my mother. Um, and really, I found that the wimpy, passive approach in working with couples, especially with abusive situations, does not work. You are
Yeah,
run over like a truck. And I never had that problem, but I have colleagues that are just sweet, passive sort of people. And that the abuser would just take over and
yeah,
run the session. And it's like, this isn't working. It has to be, here's the way it's going to be, and it's going to be my way. If you don't want my way, there's the door.
yeah,
Okay, fine. And I believe it's biblical. We see the examples throughout Scripture, of course. But Jesus was tough. He cut to the chase.
absolutely.
I mean, loving, but tough. He
Absolutely.
presented the truth, and if you didn't like the truth, he moved on. All right. The Apostle Paul, oh, he was tough as nails. He was very clear. He didn't mind confronting people. So I think that I have plenty of good company. So but it fits me. Every therapist, as you know, has to find their own voice, their own style. But this is why I'm
Absolutely.
like, it's who I am. And some folks are turned off by it. God love them. That's fine. See Mother Teresa or somebody like her. I just got me.
Yeah,
Okay. But I'm going to bring it. But they know that I can be kind of funny too. I'm a kind of a character, and they know that I care about them. So that seems to save it. I do want things to work out. But yeah, I just got to be me.
no, I think so, and I think Jesus was the same way. People knew he loved them, so when he confronted them, they heard it. And I think and especially in the area that you focus on so much with abuse and narcissism and things like that, um, you just got to be tough. I mean, because usually a narcissist, he's got all the answers, he's got everything figured out, and would love to control a counselor just like he's controlling the other people in his life.
Oh, he loves it. That doesn't work in my office. When I used to see couples, I would confront him right away. Of course, he didn't like it, and he would just leave. And I said to the lady, "Well, I thought he'd never leave." Yeah, I knew he was going to do that. Let's you and I talk because I can't do a thing with him. And let's get you strong. Now I don't even
Absolutely.
bother talking to the narcissist. I'm not going to waste my time.
No,
No, Jesus
no, no.
didn't either. He didn't waste time with people who he knew were not going to change or had a
Yeah.
bad attitude. I don't. He had a limited time of ministry, as we all do, and I'm going to use it.
Yeah, and make a difference, and you can't make a difference in a situation like that. So was that kind of the catalyst for the new book, the 20 Lies book?
Really was. I mean, it's a set of lies you're believing, and I call them lies, and because that's what they are. And so it's very tough. It's in your face, but I think it's very effective. And really, we found that the Enough is Enough book I wrote about how exactly to get out of the abusive relationship, ladies couldn't apply it because they were codependent. I'm not strong enough. I believe these lies. I could never do that. Okay, let's write this book. And God just brought it together beautifully. This is the pre-step to get healthy so you can prepare then to use the Enough is Enough book and then get out. And
Absolutely.
I get to sell two books, which is terrific.
Well, no, and I thought that as I was looking to it when I got a copy way back, I guess in June sometime, and just thought, yes, this is going to help those people that aren't quite ready for enough is enough. And I've had a couple people that I've had read that, and I've learned that they weren't quite ready for that yet. I
Yeah.
think you're right. This book helps get someone ready and helps them really look at, am I really in an abusive situation? Am I really living with a narcissist? And there's the 20 lies that I think if you're in that kind of situation, you're going to identify with the lies.
And that helps. I do a lot of phone advice now, almost all phone advice, ladies across the country, and they want to know. Yeah, they'll present their case and they want me to tell them well, is he emotionally abusive or not? Am I a codependent? And I do. I got no problem doing that. I should know. In 45 minutes, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And that's reassuring. Oh, I didn't realize. They don't want to hear that. Had a lady crying just this morning because, oh no, I was afraid you were going to say that. I said, yeah, well, that's the truth.
Well, you got to take that first step of acceptance. I mean, that's what AA is built on. You got to admit you have a problem.
Right.
And I think that's true in just anything. Before we go to, I think that's why you don't define, you don't make God your whatever higher power, make God who he is until you have a problem. And
Right.
then you can invite him into the midst of the problem. So with it has been out a while, what have you seen and how do you hope this book impacts readers?
God has really been gracious. We're selling a lot of these books, doing a lot of phone advice sessions connected to it. We're starting to see ladies who are, it's clicking with them. And what the hope and the prayer is that they begin to shred their codependency and the lies that support it. And they're starting to see it. And then they're starting to take the small action steps in the book, Kim, as you notice in the book, just little small steps, but it starts to get cumulative over time and they get stronger and they get more assertive. And then they start to think, you know what? He is abusive. I don't deserve this. I'm getting stronger now. I can see the damage to my kids. I'm getting out. And then they can get the Enough is Enough book and maybe a therapist, and let's start a process of leaving. We're seeing that happen, and it's a beautiful thing.
Well, and we're talking so people understand, we're not talking about divorce. We're talking about separation, about getting you safe, your kids safe, getting you the help that you need, and giving your spouse the opportunity to get help if he will. And so you'll know right after a period of time.
Oh yeah, it's going to be obvious if he gets it or not. And yeah, I just go as far as separation. God has to release you to the divorce, and he'll do that if that's his choice. He'll make it clear.
Absolutely. Yes, I've had people say that. Well, how do I know? And I just say, you will know. And at some point they come and said, I know, I have peace. Yeah. You know, it's not like God appeared in the bedroom and said, it's time, but it's like they just know God has impressed that on their heart that you have done everything I want you to do or you need to do. And probably most of them a lot more than that.
Well, right. I think that's important, even with the 20 lies and enough is enough. And even when you leave him, you want to have unturned every stone, because that helps you sleep at night and the peace of knowing before God and your kids, I did my best.
Absolutely.
That's important. No regrets. He chose not to change. Okay.
Exactly. And that's a huge switch, isn't it? From thinking everything's your fault to realizing that the reason that you're at this point is because he did not change. He wouldn't work on it. He wouldn't come alongside me in this. Yeah.
That's the switch we're working so hard for. Oh yeah. That click in the brain where, you know what? It's not me. It's him.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. Exactly. So what's been most encouraging to you in your counseling lately? We're post-COVID, hopefully now, and just kind of what's been most encouraging?
Boy, two things. I was, before COVID, I was seeing everybody in person. And I was starting to think, you know what? I kind of like these. I don't want to be an ongoing therapist anymore. My patience is down. And I want to wear casual clothes in the office anyway. So I started doing these very brief triage phone sessions. COVID just accelerated that because you had to. Sure. All my clients couldn't come in. Although we're here in Florida, and I hate to brag, but we got a great governor, DeSantis, and we stayed open. Yeah. When I started that shift, it allowed me to make that shift into 95% now are these phone advice sessions, and I love it. It's one time, maybe two. Get the information, sell them a book. Here's the strategy, follow up with a therapist locally. And Ohio, California, Australia, New Zealand, I mean, all over the place, Illinois. And so I love doing that. So that's been a real advantage. It's an easier way to work. I'm very clear with a plan right up front. I never ask a client, well, what do you think? That I've never done that, but I don't do that anymore anyway. No, I'm going to tell you what to think. I'm the doctor. So that's been great. I love doing the phone sessions. It's working out.
Do you do phone more than you do video, but like Zoom? Is it mainly phone?
Yeah, it's all phone. People ask about Zoom. I say, no, I'm old school.
Yeah.
You know what? If I just had lunch and I have some stains on my T-shirt, I don't want to be seen. So no,
you don't want to have to go change shirts, right?
Exactly. But the phone it works beautifully. Now it wouldn't, if it's going to be ongoing, it wouldn't be a good idea. But one time, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you want to
Absolutely.
have or ongoing, you got to have a connection, a relationship to see people. I
And
think
you
you
do
want to
see that.
see,
Yeah.
yeah, and so that's fine. But this is a different animal. So the phone's perfect, works out.
Uh,
Landline, boom.
Absolutely. No, that's good. And I think it is. I think if we look at some silver linings in COVID, I think that people got more comfortable with things because they had to, whether it was phone conversations or counseling or Zoom or things like that. I I remember because we'd been using Zoom at Awesome Marriage a long time. I don't know how many people called me or texted me and said, "How do I do this? How do I use Zoom?" And but now you say Zoom and it's as common a household word as, chocolate or something. Everybody knows what Zoom is now.
Yeah. Except in Dr. Clarke's office,
It's
where we
having
don't
no
have a
clocks off.
clue.
And then,
No,
and then
for me, of course, media, I do a bunch of video things like we did today.
yes,
But yeah, at Dr. Clarke's office, it's like the 1950s. You have a phone? You call me on the phone.
there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
It's,
it
it's pretty
works.
good. It works.
Yeah.
It works really well. Well, the book is 20 Lies That Keep You with Your Abuser. Let me put that up here. You can get that if you contact Dr. Clarke at davideclarkephd.com. And there's also, I think, we have a podcast with Dr. Clarke that'll be coming out in January, I think. So that's something to look forward to. We talk about a lot more about a lot of these things. But then the other book that I love, and Dr. Clarke says the 20 Lies is the prequel, is Enough is Enough. And it's once you get yourself to the point of, I know I need to leave, that book helps you make that decision and take the steps, right?
Right. Frame by frame. People need to know, what do I do? Get out doesn't help. Here's exactly what you do, all the steps, getting your kids ready, the financial piece, your own emotional health. Oh yeah. So it's a very practical plan. I've seen it work hundreds of times, so I know it works.
It is. Since I've known each other, I've used it a number of times with people, and it just makes something that's very hard for someone. It really simplifies it. You've got the steps in front. I'm not saying it makes it easy, but it makes it.
Yeah.
It simplifies it, and you feel like, okay, this guy knows what he's doing. He's done this with thousands of women. If it worked with them, it should work with me too, right?
Right. Yeah, I'm not a newbie. People can tell I'm a grizzled veteran.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes, you
yeah.
are.
Yeah, I've been around 35 years at doing this. Yeah, it's like you, Dr. Kim. You know things. You are experienced.
You do.
We're still vital young men, of course, but we have experience.
Absolutely. Well, you do, and you learn, and God teaches us things over time. And yeah, sometimes I pity the people that saw me in my early years as a counselor, but I guess I have to hope that God work things out with them too.
That's how I feel. I
Yeah.
was literally practicing. Speaking of having a practice.
Exactly. That's exactly what
That's right.
Exactly. Well, thanks for your time today. Appreciate it, and talk soon.
Thank you. Thanks, Kim.